Okay, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. So today we'll be talking about the conditional statement. So conditional statement, basically, like so far what we've been doing, we just printed or displayed information, okay, on the output here. But in many situations, we make decisions based on conditions. So if the condition is true, then a statement or block of statement will be executed. But if the condition is false, then another block of statements will be executed. So let's take an example. Let's say, for example, we're going to prompt the user to enter the name and then the grade, and then we're going to decide whether the grade is passing grade or failing grade. So let's start with the variable first. So we have string name. So to get the name of the students, and then we're going to get the grade of the students. And then we're going to start by prompting the user to enter the name first and L. And then we're going to get the information from the user, CN, and then we're going to put name. And if you remember, we said that this way of getting the information from the user will get you only the first part. So the best way for the string, the best way is to use getLine. So getLine will get you the entire line, okay? Because if you put a CN name, then if you have first name space last name, only the first name will be picked up. So that's why you need to use getLine, CIN or CIN, and then name. So this is the correct way to get information about the name. And then we're going to do the same thing for the grade. So I'm going to put enter your grade. And then we will get the information just like what we did for the name. And then we're going to put grade. So now we have the information about, okay, here I forgot L. We get the information about the name and also about the grade. Okay, let's print it and see if that's the case. So I'm going to put C out here, the name, maybe get a little space, and then put the grade just to see if that's what's going to happen. So it's going to ask for the name, enter the name, let's say John, hit the enter key, enter your grade 86. So it shows the name and the grade. So far everything is working. So now I'm going to check, I want to test the grade, see if it is passing. So we use the F statement. We put F, IF, and make sure that when you put F, it should be lowercase. If you put it as uppercase, like this, then it's not going to work. Or if I capitalize and F is lowercase, it's not going to work. So make sure it is lowercase because it's case sensitive. So I'm going to put, and then the parentheses. The parentheses is required here, okay? And then you put the, if the grade is higher or equal than 70, that's the condition. If this condition is true, then something will happen, okay? Something will happen. If that condition is not true, nothing will happen. That means whatever statement or block of statements after F is not going to be executed by the compiler. So here I'm going to put grade higher or equal than 70 and then hit the enter key and then use the braces. Now the braces are not, I would say, they're not required, but they're very useful and helps you avoid a lot of confusion and headaches. When you put the braces, then everything that you put inside between the opening and the closing, they're part of the F statement. That means they will be executed only if the condition is true. If they are not, if the condition is not true, then the computer will skip and then go to the statement after the closing. Okay, so here, what happened if the grade is higher than 70? I'm going to say statement like, oh, congratulations, you passed, something like that. I'm gonna put and line. So that's will happen. Okay. That means if the grade is higher or equal than 70. Now there is a mistake that many people make is they put semicolon after F statement. This is wrong. Why? Because the statement is not complete. We put semicolon when the statement is complete. So when you put semicolon after F, you are basically separating this part of the F statement from the rest. So they are not related anymore. And if you run the program, you're going to see that there is an error here. Or even if you didn't get any error, the statement congratulations will happen no matter what. So if I try to put the name, for example, right here, John, on the grade, and I put 60. See, it says congratulations, even though it's not passing. Why? Because you put that semicolon. So the congratulations statement is not part of the F anymore. Why? Because the semicolons separate the two. So you need to be careful about that. Okay, this statement, we don't need it anymore. We just did it for testing purposes. So I'm going to delete that. So again, let me do it again so I can show the importance of not making the semicolon. So when I run the program, now when the grade is higher than 70, so I'm going to put John, like for example, 80. Okay, it looks, you may get the impression that everything is working fine. Okay, but when you try it with the failing grade, so I put, for example, David, and then I got 65. So 65 is not a passing grade, it's not higher, but because of that semicolon, so that's separating the two parts of the F statements. So it's going to show, it's like the congratulations statement is a separate statement, has nothing to do with the F statement. So you need to be careful about that. So don't put semicolon in here. Okay, now what about if the grade is not a passing? So I'm going to put the else. Else means that the condition is false. That means it's not higher or equal than 70, which means less than 70. And then again, I'm going to put braces. So you open, you close for F. And then for the else, you open, the close. So I'm going to put another statement that says, for example, sorry, you failed. So I'm going to put, sorry, you failed. Try again or something like that. So I'm going to put, okay. So now we have the two situations. We have two outcomes. One of them will happen. So what happened is, if the condition is true, the program, the compiler, will execute the statement or a block. Sometimes you may have more than one statement that comes after F, and it will ignore the statements after else, because you cannot have, but you cannot be passing and failing at the same time. You cannot be present and absent at the same time. So one of them will be executed, and then the other one will be ignored. So here, as you can see, if the grade is higher or equal than 70, the computer will say, congratulations, you passed, and the else will be ignored. Now, if the grade is less than 70, 69 and less, then the first one will be ignored, and then the sorry, you failed, try again statement will be executed. So let's test the program, make sure it's working. So I'm gonna get Maria. Okay, she got 90. Of course, congratulations, you passed. Now try a failing grade. So let's say Joe, enter your grade. So 69. It's close, but still less than 70. Sorry, you failed. Try again. Okay, so that's how the F statement works. So make sure you remember that FIF is lowercase. Put the parentheses surrounding the condition. Sometimes you may have more than one condition. We'll talk about this later when you have more than one condition. But for now, we're talking only about one condition. So make sure you don't put semicolon here. Never. So I'm going to put it as a statement here. Never put a semicolon here. Okay? And then the braces. Now, how do I know that the braces is important? Let me take them off and see. Okay? But before I do that, let's say I want to add another statement. Okay, I want to add another statement beside congratulations. I'm going to say, for example, Okay, congratulations, you got cookies. Oh, whatever. I just want to add another statement. Okay, so if I run the program, these two are together. Why? Because they are surrounded by braces. So if I run the program, and then I put, for example, okay, Jack, say enter your grade, 98. See both lines. Why? Because this block of statements is under F statements. So both of them should be executed. Okay. And then if I'm entering a failing grade, let's say John, and then I put 60, only one statement will be printed. Now, to show you the significance and the importance of the braces, let's just remove. I'm not going to touch any code. I'm just going to remove this braces and see what happened. So what happened is without the braces, only the first line, the first statement is part of the F. That means only this is part of the F. That means is dependent on the condition. The second one, you got cookies, is separate statements, has nothing to do with the condition, regardless whether it's true or false. So that's what happens when you don't use the braces. So with the absence of braces, the computer or the compiler will assume that only the first line is part of the F. Now, what happened now, else and F are separated by one statement, which is this one. So it's like you put this line in the middle between the F and the else. That's why it is underlined. That means there is no F associated with else. Why? Because that line, you got cookies, is separating the F from the else. So that's why, to avoid all these problems, to avoid all this confusion, make sure that the braces are there. Okay, I always do that. And then when you do it, don't delete anything. Don't delete the close and say, okay, I'm going to do it later. Okay, so when you try to insert the braces, usually they come together like as a pair, open, close. As long as you don't mess with them, you will never have problem with the braces. Why? Because the computer is taking care of that. Okay, so that's why I never had issues with the braces. Why? Because I don't delete them. When I insert new one, they come together, open, close. So I create space in the middle and I just type my code. Okay. So, okay. So, thank you for joining. Can you hear me, Joey? All right. Can you hear me, Joey?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Okay. So I was just talking about the F statements. So I give an example about the grade, and then I talked about the significance of the braces and also what happened when the F statement is executed.
Okay.
All right. So now my next question: what happened if I want to put a statement only for students who passed with A, like a grade of 90 and above? So where shall I put that statement? I want to send a message just for these people, only for students who got A. Yeah, can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. All right, so if I want to send a message to students who got A, that means 90 or above, where do you think I should put the statement? Because so far I have only two groups, people who passed and people who failed. Joey, can you mute yourself? Because there is a, thank you, appreciate it. So if I want to add, if you want to send a message to students who got A, it has to be within the first group because they are passing. So I'm going to add here an F statement. It's called nested F because this F statement is inside said another one. So I'm going to put here F the grade. I already know it's higher than 70. That's for sure. Okay. I want to say, okay, if it is higher than 90, besides 70, so I'm going to say special statements. I'm going to say cout, for example. I'm going to say, for example, you got a free homework pass, just for example. So this statement is only for people who, besides passing, they get even a higher grade, higher. So when I run the program, for example, and then I put, like, for example, let's say Maria, she got a grade of 92. So she's gonna get congratulations, you passed. You got cookies because she passed. But in addition to that, because her grade is higher than 90, she will get all those statements free homework pass. So if I run the program, she's gonna get all the three. But now, what about if someone who passed, let's say David, he passed, let's say with 80. So he will get only the two statements. Congratulations, you passed, you got cookies, but he will not get a free homework pass because his grade is not higher or equal than 90. So I'm gonna do the same thing. This is just to show you that you can have an F statement inside another F. So let's say for people who failed, let's say I want to send a message to students who got a very low grade. I want to let their parents know. I want to notify them. So I'm going to put right here, look, inside else, because else means people who failed. And then if you look at else, I don't have to say else if the grade is less than 70. It's understood. It's implicit. Because when you put else, it means automatically that the grade is less than 70, because that's what the opposite of grade higher or equal than 70, because else means that condition is false, which means it's less than 70. So you don't have to specify less grade is 70. It's unnecessary. Good, that's understood. So I'm gonna go right here, and then I'm gonna put the statement if a grade is less, let's say, than 60, for example, or 50, whatever you want. So if it were close to 70, okay, there is hope you can still, make it up. But if you are less than 60, then probably the parents should know about this. So I'm gonna put a statement here, and I'm gonna send them a message that your parents will be notified or something like that. So I'm gonna put C out. Okay, your parents will be notified. Okay, so now let's run the program and see. So let's say, for example, Katie, okay, she got, let's say, 68. Okay, it's less than 70, but it was not that bad. So she's gonna get, sorry you failed, you can try again. But let's enter. So let's say, for example, let's say someone David again. Enter your grade, and then this time he got like 56. So that's less than 60. So besides the statement, sorry you failed, try again, he's gonna get another statement. Your parents will be notified. Okay? So this is called nested F, when you have an F statement inside another one. Okay? So see, like when you put the braces, there is no confusion, because I know that this is how it starts, this is how it ends. The nested one, this is how it starts. So with those braces, it's sometimes it's very hard to tell which one is which. So the else also, look, it starts from here, it ends here. This is for the entire category of students who failed. So this one is inside, and this is how this will start, this is where it closes. Okay, so this is about the F statement. Okay, so let's let me see here. Let's let's have an example. Okay, let me see here if I have an example I can show you regarding this. So just gonna use example and put it into practice here. Okay, let's say, for example, okay, let's say we have a discount. Okay, like you go to a specific store, they have a sale, you get a discount of 15% or 20%. Let's make it easy. 20% if you buy more than $150, they give you a discount. So here you have two outcomes. Either you're going to get discount or no discount. So when you have two outcomes, you can use F else. But if you have more than two outcomes, you have 3 or 4, then you have to use a different approach. So let's start with this. So I'm going to delete this. And then, okay, let's keep the name. And then I'm going to change the grade to purchase. So I'm going to delete all of this. No, actually, let me just leave this and then delete all the rest about the grade. So make sure that you don't close, that you don't delete everything. Make sure that the end here. So okay, so I have the name. I want to keep the name, and then for grade, I'm going to use purchase. That means this is how much money I spent, or the cost, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then here I'm going to use purchase. Now, as far as the data type is concerned, it's up to you. You want to make it double because the purchase is possible. It may have decimal. That's fine. So I just chose integer, but you can choose double if you want. So here I got the name. I got the purchase, how much money. So now I'm going to test F. F what? So I'm going to put the condition here. What is the condition that I have to use here? The purchase has to be higher than 150. So I have the purchase. I'm going to put purchase. I mean, it doesn't matter. You don't have to start from higher. You can start from less. Then it's up to you. It's your choice. So if it is higher than 150, then the person should or deserve a 20% discount. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit the enter key. That's the first thing I'm going to do is the braces. Look, because the braces tells me that anything inside, it doesn't matter how many statements. I may have 5, 10 statements. As long as they are between these two braces, they are part of the F. That means if the condition is true, every statement within these two braces will be executed. So here, if the purchase is higher than 150, okay, I may need a variable for discount. I can put it right here, double, and then put discount. Okay? Because I need that, because I need to calculate how much discount they have. So I declare it on top, and then I'm going to put discount is equal to what? Now, purchase is higher than 150, so there is a 20%. So I'm going to calculate a purchase multiply by 0.2. That's 20%, right? So that's going to give me the how much discounts, okay? Now, discount should be double, of course, because you are multiplying by 0.2. And then I can put say out, and then I can put statement. The price after discount is, and then I'm going to put the bracket, and then I'm going to put the difference because you have to subtract the discount from the original price. So I'm going to put purchase minus discount. If you want to put it inside the parentheses, that would be even better. Okay, so if you want to put this inside the parentheses, that would be better. But I think it works either way. So I'm going to put right here. Okay. So now let's test it. Okay, the program is not complete yet. Why? Because I still have the else part. But let me try make sure that the discount is calculated properly. I'm going to run the program. So I have the name. So let's say I'm going to put here Bob. Okay. And then it's going to say, okay, I'm sorry, it's not supposed to say enter your grade. It should be enter the amount of purchase. The amount of purchase. Okay. So let's run it again. So what is your name? Bob. Enter the amount of purchase. So I'm going to say anything that's higher than 150. Because if I put less than 150, nothing will happen because there is no code that deals with that situation. So I'm going to put 200. Once I hit the enter key, these two statements will be executed. That means the discount will be calculated, and then the statement, the price after discount will be. So if I hit the enter key, see the price after discount is 160 because you multiply 200 by 0.2. So that's $40. And then you subtract that from 200, that's 160. So that's only half of the work. See? So now what about if you spend money, but not enough to deserve a discount? So there is no discount. I'm going to put discount is 0. Discount is 0. Or I can initialize it on top. I can put discounts here on top equals to 0, so I don't have to do anything. Like for example, I can put 0 here. So here I don't have to put anything because it's already 0. I don't have to make any changes. That would be probably even better. And then here I'm going to put C out. And then I'm going to put, okay, the price after discount is purchase, because there is no discount applied. Okay, so now let me try and then use okay, so we have Bob. This time he spent only $120, which is less than $150. So the price after discount is $120. I can say something like no discount, or I can say, for example, no discount. No discount. The price is or the final price is, because I don't have to put after discount because there is no discount to begin with. So I would say this, whatever appropriate statements you can make. So now it's Bob, 120. So no discount, the price is 120, or the final price is 120. So that's how the if else works. Now I'm not gonna talk about what about if you have more than 2 outcomes. That's for next time, okay? But for now, this is how the if statement works. So you put the statement, you prompt the user to enter the information, and then you start with the if statement. Make sure you put the parentheses and put that condition in here. Whatever you have inside the parentheses, it has to return true or false, because that's how the computer, evaluate the situation. So if that condition is true, anything within the braces will be executed after if, and then the else will be ignored. If that condition, which is purchase higher than 50, if it's false, that means it's less than 150. So the else will be executed, and then the first 2 statements will be ignored. So that's how the if is. Make sure that you don't put semicolon in here. Don't do that. And the same thing for else. And also for the else, you don't have to repeat purchase less than 150, because it's understood, because that's what else does. Else means the purchase is less than 150, because that's the opposite. Okay, so else means if it is false, that means it's not higher than 150. So if it's not higher than 150, it has to be less than 150. It's just common sense. Okay, so that's about the if statements. Okay, there is also another type of if statement. It's called the switch statement. It's very similar to the if statement. I can add it here just in case, like you want to know like how it works. So you can use the switch statement. Switch statement is an alternative to the if statement. So it's very similar. Some people, they find it easier, but the thing is you cannot use it all the time. So let me give an example to show you how it works. Let's say, for example, I want to prompt the user to enter the grade letter, like how much they got, and then I want to place or display a statement that is appropriate. So let's say, for example, okay, your name, and then I'm going to say enter your grade letter. Enter the grade letter. So it has to be a char, right? So I'm going to go right here. So I don't need all of this. So I'm going to use char grade letter. Okay. So for this one, I'm just going to put CIN. And then I'm going to put grade letter. Of course, I forgot to put semicolon here. Okay. So I got that. So enter your name. I'm sorry for this one. Oh, I'm sorry for the name. It should stay the same. Sorry. So I'm going to put here get line CIN and then name. Enter the grade letter. That's what we should put the char. So I'm going to put here CIN grade letter. Okay, grade letter. Now the switch statement works like this. Now, which one going to use? It's totally up to you. You choose whatever is convenient for you. So you put switch, and then you put the variable that you are testing, which is grade letter, in here. And then you put the braces. Braces are required because it tells the computer where to start, where to end. And then you put the cases, like case A. That means if the user presses A, that means you got A, like 9 and above. Then you put a statement that is appropriate for this. Congratulations, you got A, something like that, okay? Or congratulations, you are awesome. Something like that. Okay. And then I'm going to put case B. That means what about the answer? So it's very similar to a statement. It's just like a different, different way. So if it is B, always use the colon after that. And then I'm going to put, okay, good job. Mm-hmm. Oh, good job. Keep up, do good work. Okay. And then case C, that means what about if they answer C, if they entered C? So you put something like, okay, you did okay, you may need help, something like that. So see, like a very similar to the F statements, but you're going to use the switch instead of the F statements. Switch grade letter, that means if the grade letter is A, do this. If it's B, do this. If it's C. Now, what about if it's F? So I'm going to put here, if it is F, then you're going to say, oh, sorry, you failed. Try again or something like that. Okay, now I'm not finished yet, but let's see what happened when if I run the program and see if there is anything to be changed. So I'm going to run the program. First one is going to ask me about the name, right? Enter your name. Okay, let's say John. Okay, did I say enter the... Oh yeah, so here I'm not supposed to have this because I already have it. So I repeated it twice. So let me run the program again. Okay, enter your name, John. Enter the grade letter. Let's say I'm gonna put, let's say C. You did okay, you may need help. Okay, so far it looks like fine. Now let's try. Bob, B. Good job, keep up the good work. But look what happened here. You did okay, you may need help. Sorry you failed. So it looks like every time I get something, it's gonna keep going. It does not stop. Like for example, for C, let's say for example, Maria, I put C, it's supposed to say only you did okay, you may need help, but it did show sorry you failed. That's not supposed to happen. And the same thing for B. So I put here Maria and I put B, it just keep going. So to avoid that problem, there is something called break. That means you exit the statement. It's called break. So you have to put a break. That means execute the statement and exit the block. So I'm going to put a break at the end of each one of them to make sure that it does not continue. Once you print that statement or so you exit. So as you can see right here, I'm not going to have that problem again. If I run the program, so it's going to say, what's your name, Bob? And then it's going to say, enter the grade letter. Now let's put B. See, it says only good job, there's nothing else, which means it did execute the statement, but because of the break, it will exit the area and then continue with the statement after the switch statement. And then we'll try it with A. We're not going to have that problem. So enter A, C, enter, I'm sorry, the first name, I should put name, not the so I'm going to put here Bob, enter A, say congratulations, you are awesome. So that's only A, it does not continue. Okay, now my question before I stop, what happened if the user enters something unexpected? No A, no B, C, F, they put something else, totally unexpected. So the program, there is nothing in the program that's going to respond to that. So that's why there is something called defaults. So I'm going to put break for the last one and then put default. Default, that means if anything, basically it's like none of the above. That means if they enter none of the above, not A, not B, not C, and not F, then this is how the program should respond. See out. You can put, for example, invalid entry. Please try again. So this will make sure that the program has an answer for any situations. Even when the user enters something unexpected, like let's say X or something else, so that should, the computer should, so if I put, for example, here, what, enter your name, okay, say Bob, and then I enter grade letter and I put X, just to see how the program is going to respond, or invalid entry, please try again. So there is a response for any kind of situation. So that makes the program kind of robust and more sophisticated. Okay, so this is the switch statement. The question I get about this, okay, which one is better? Also, the F statement works all the time. Switch statement works most of the time, but not all the time. So there are certain situations when you cannot use the switch statement. And by the way, can you use the F statement with the switch? Yes. Like under case A, before break, you can put an F statement. You can put, okay, if the case is A and then there is another condition, you can put an F statement within the switch statement. There is nothing wrong with that. Okay? So this question of choice, you choose whatever, works for you. Okay? So that's how the F statement works. That's if you have any questions, how to, I think the programs about this, about F statements, I don't think it's, I think probably is next week or the one after. I always start with the topic early on, so you have enough time to grasp the concept, make sense of it. So by the time you have to do the programs, you already have enough time to practice, to make sense of it, and understand the concept, so it will be easy for you. So that's, I think that's a good strategy. All right, so that's how the F statement and the switch statement works. All right, Joey, do you have any question?
No, thank you.
All right. So so next time we'll be talking about what happened if you have more than two outcomes, because here, as look like for the F statement, I will we dealt only with the situation in which you have something or the opposite. That means only two outcomes. But what about if you have 3, 4 outcomes, 3 possibilities or 4? So you have to use a different approach. F and else will be won't be the right answer. Why? Because when you put else, you may include 3 possibilities into one. So it's like you are, dealing with them as one category. So that's not going to work. So you have to use a different approach. That's what we're going to learn next time. All right. So that's all what I have for this week. Make sure you let me know if you have any questions about anything, about the quiz, about the programs that you have. Before I stop, let me check what programs you have to see for this week, in case you have questions. Okay, so this is week is for the 22. Sorry, contents. So this is week of September, week number 4. Okay. So this is week number 4. So this is the assignment that you have. I don't think there's no F statements here, so it should be an easy programs for you. So basically, you're going to create a program that prompt the user to enter the subtotal, and the gratuity rate, and then you calculate that, and then you display. Like here you have 15%, you multiply by 0.15, and then you add it to the original, or to the subtotal. So that's an easy one. You have an example. So you're going to prompt the user, enter the subtotal, enter the gratuity rate, and then you multiply the subtotal by gratuity rate. So here you're going to multiply by 15, divide by 100. Just be careful that you have to put 15.0 if you want to keep the decimal. Okay. And then the second program is about converting the temperature from Fahrenheit to Celsius. So you look up I think the formula is you put the Fahrenheit minus 32, and then you multiply by either 5/9 or 9. So look it up, go to Google and type convert temperature from Fahrenheit. It should give you the formula. So you're going to prompt the user to enter the temperature in Fahrenheit, and then use the formula and display the answer. So for example, if the user enters 212, it should say 212F, this means Fahrenheit, is equal to whatever so you need to have a variable called, C for Celsius, or call it Celsius, and then declare it as double, and then assign it the formula. So you're going to put F, because you already have a variable called F for Fahrenheit. That's you got the information from the user, and then apply the formula, assign it to C, and then display the statement as you can see. Okay, so that's all what you have for this week. So it should be an easy programs. I don't see anything. So the F statement is not even here. I think it's in either week 5 or 6. Okay, so we still have another week to talk about this. All right, so that's all I have to say. Thank you so much, and see you next week. Joey, any questions?
No, thank you.
All right, thank you so
Thank you.
much. Yeah, as usual, so I'm gonna post this lecture in case like you wanna go over it. So I will post it either tomorrow or after tomorrow, because it takes 24 days, up to 24 hours to be complete. Okay. All right. So take care, everybody, and see you next week.